As an 11-year-old, you don't know how to deal with death. Boys and girls, has anybody in this room ever experienced death? Isn't it awful? And at 11, you just don't know how to deal with it, right? Because you're used to playing with dolls and playing with your friends and having little sleepovers. But that's real life, isn't it? As a result, my mom couldn't take care of us. My dad was dealing with dealing with the death. So I had to kind of step in as a parent and clean up the whole mess, And I heard that some of you guys are really good cooks. I wish I had you as a brother or a sister that could have done the cooking, because I had to do the cooking. I couldn't figure out if chickens, which one was the upside or the downside, but it was pretty sad. I found myself having a lot of anxiety. Do you know what that is? Do you know what anxiety is? Let's say you're being bullied and you're trying to focus in school. And what happens? You're just like, oh gosh, what's going to happen? Are they going to wait for me outside? That's anxiety. Or when you try to go to sleep, but you can't because your parents are fighting, and it causes you a lot of stress inside. Do you know that feeling that I'm talking about? That created a lot of anxiety. Having the house chaotic, having your mom not take care of you, having your dad not there. The only time that I felt that mom liked us was when we were singing and performing. And she'd say, yep, that's good, do it again, do it again, do it again, get it right, get it right. My parents fought all the time. And I believe it was the result of the death of Michael. Because sometimes you end up blaming each other. You're angry, but you don't, you just take it out on that person that you love. You don't understand what's going on. Probably, looking back, the best thing they should have done was got counseling, don't you think? The fighting, it was awful. It was unbelievable. You know Dr. Phil, right? He says hearing your parents argue all the time changes who you are, your DNA, person that you're made of, and your brain chemistry. I understood that. Have you ever been in that situation where you're hearing all the fighting all the time? I understand. It's very common nowadays. It's worse than it was when I was in grade 6. Worse. There's so much pressure, especially we just came out of a recession. And a lot of times, as kids, we take that on. We blame ourselves. But I'm here to tell you, don't blame yourselves. Because what I learned as I'm older, it wasn't Mike and Mom. It was just the situation. It was the stress of life, of the death and the house falling apart. And how many of you come from a family of divorce? Can you put your hands up? It's very, very, very common. And we'll see more and more of it, right? It can be tough when you're going through divorce, right? But I'm here to tell you, you can get through it. You can get through it, so not to worry. It's really knowing who you are and to be strong during those tough times. And a lot of kids, believe it or not, might be going through that. You just don't know it. You just don't know it. And so I encourage you to think twice before picking on somebody or making fun of somebody, because we don't know their home situation or what's going on at home, or a death. It could be anything. We need to show compassion for one another. Don't you agree, boys and girls? We should be helping one another. So if someone is getting bullied, we should say, don't pick on that person, right? We should be there to help one another, because that's what life is about. People change. Situations change. Nothing ever stays the same. Sometimes good and sometimes bad. One of the secrets, boys and girls, is making stepping stones out of stumbling blocks. The greater the obstacle, the more glory you can from overcoming it.